if anybody has, or questions, comments, responses, reflections. I know we had some already going in the chat, right? So you could feel free to open your mic and even continue that chat conversation in our space here. I don't know if
Them like
Penny,
right, but
if
them
you
no
had
one talk.
they right, they
So
like
if I
right
give
now.
other
We
people to talk to, I want to dominate, them ways.
well, we hear from you for the night, so come on, let me hear something.
It was a lot of things, miss. It was quite a mouthful.
Yeah.
It kind of lost me halfway, but I got caught at the last bit there too. But I clearly see the relationship between words and how Creole has manifested itself in the Caribbean. Um, it's quite interesting that thing that he mentioned with Ruti. I have
Mhm,
first-hand experience with hearing that thing and wondering about it and
mhm,
clarity about where it came from was very
mhm,
interesting to me.
mhm. Yes. Yes. Well, it's. I mean, getting lost halfway is you made it far because this is really deep, intense linguistics, and what you got an introduction to there is the sense that we can use linguistics to teach us our history. And what I love about it, I'm not a linguist. I keep telling you all, I'm not a linguist. I had to learn the little I know. I learned it, I would say, on the streets. I learned it because I am a language activist. Um, but what I've learned, I think the most fundamental thing I've learned is that when we listen to ourselves, when we listen to each other, we realize that we are connected. And those borders that were drawn by the Europeans are not our borders. These names, Guyana, Jamaica, Belize, we were all enchained, enslaved, and then we're now still and still we are now wage slaves. And those who came to join the plantation afterward, the difference is, yes, there's an intense difference in how they were treated, but it was for the same purpose, to get a certain minority group rich. um but the message that his research reveals is that we are connected and language connects us. I should drop my English and talk Creoles now, right? Huh? To
Well,
show that we're really connected. But you get the point. And the whole class that we're doing with you who are students in this lecture is that bilingualism is a gift, not an impediment. And you should be able to switch, and by switching, it doesn't mean that you must leave your own language and culture behind. But let me hear from other people. I'm talking already too much. Anyone in the room would like to say something, just unmute and speak.
Good
Hi,
night, miss. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Okay, we hear a male voice and a female voice. The male voice was speaking first. Let's hear him and then the female voice.
Good night again.
Yes, go ahead, Alston.
Yeah, so we are one despite we be born in different place. We still connected.
Yes, if nothing connects us like language.
So we are one. I mean,
We are
I
one.
really like
We
the
is
class when you
Mati.
speak really.
Me are tired for tell you. We is Mati. And it's not only within the Guyana space too, it's across the entire Atlantic and all along the coast of Nigeria, of West Africa. Comment, Alston? But
Yes, as I was saying,
yeah.
the class sounds better when you speak really.
Okay, Alston.
I
But
really enjoy that.
yeah, but this is also a kind of an invitation to put up your hand to learn more linguistics. because it's a way of listening to ourselves and paying attention to ourselves in a way that it's really an exquisite way when we study how we speak, we study how we talk, when we've been spending too many decades trying to pretend that we're not speaking properly. Now, Creole linguistics is the science of studying and understanding our speech. It is probably the most a kind of a reverence to pay your speech. Not only Europeans should be the ones to study the way they speak. So we study the way we speak. We had a female voice just now. Who was it?
It's me. My name is Shamira. I'm from Belize, and it was really a very interesting, enlightening, amazing session. Myself, I consider myself to also be an activist in Creole culture in Belize. Unfortunately, in Belize, Creole is not celebrated at how we would like to celebrate it. There are other like it's the main spoken language in Belize, but it's still we're still told that we're not the Creoles are not a culture. We don't have a true culture. And so this session was really I got cold feet. um it was really nice. I loved when he mentioned we need to know where we come from in order to move forward as a people. Sometimes because the European influence and the European manipulation, we tend to be ashamed of who we are and where we come from. And like you mentioned, speak proper. And I mean, I come from one of the families where my grandmother didn't even allow us to answer the telephone if we didn't speak proper English.
I know that telephone story.
So it made it as I grew older and started to become an activist in my culture, it made me feel like I was how do you say that my spoken identity is not valid. And so I love that now there is classes and sessions and forums that talks about or the etymology of our language, the beginning of it. And it was also enlightening to hear that we not carry I mean in a yeah, but we carry it back to Africa. So we gone back home and carry part of we home. And last point I wanted to bring up, because I kind of long winded, is the songs. In Belize, there's rhythm or a type of music that we call brok dong. The first song is both songs sounded almost, but the first song in particular, even in regards to the lyrics, it was along the line of the Belizean brok dong, and we pride ourselves and say it's a River Valley song or song that was created in Belize. But now I'm seeing that just like our language, just like our clothing, just like food, like with rice and beans or rice and peas, depends on where you come from, you say it different. That even the music is where we are a part of each other and we are one.
And of course, the way the academic environment can be transformed by us. Prof, I know, felt the heartbeat since he was a youngster, since high school, and I've known him for many years. And then he became a Creole linguist of very high repute and a language planner. What he's been able to do is to follow the heartbeat that he felt, the connection, but is unearthing the scientific evidence of our connectedness. So it's not just how I feel, it's applying learning, theory, scientific research methods to the process. And this is where in not only in linguistics and language, but in all areas of life, I think we need to take ourselves much more seriously, rather than just be screaming and shouting about, who is against us and who is not for us, etc. And study ourselves properly, because it is the highest honor you can pay yourself. Yes, Mr. Gentle.
I'd like to speak to something I misspoke about just now that I can relate directly to, and it happens even more now since I have started this Guyanese Creole class.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you go out, it makes me feel enslaved to the language that I speak or that I'm forced to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Miss would have said, you're not free to speak your own language. You're made to believe that your own language is wrong or it doesn't even exist to that extent. So
Mm-hmm.
you're forced to speak another language or a foreign language. And it makes me feel enslaved.
Mm-hmm. So we don't want that for the generations coming after us, your children, your grandchildren. We want them to embrace both as equals, not to cower because we think that one is superior. That is going to be if we win, that will be the difference between our generation and theirs.
And coming back to something that you would always speak about, we are forced to learn a foreign language before we even learn our own.
Right, right.
At the expense of our own.
Yeah. And that is a lot is lost. So but we have many people in the room and we'd love to hear from more people. And
Good
some
night,
of our
everybody.
colleagues, greetings. Greetings, Wilfred.
My name is Wilfred. I'm the president of the National Creole Council of Belize.
Ah.
I am really grateful to be a part of this gathering. In Belize, one of the things where we focus upon in the National Creole Council that we decolonize our identity. Because as Shamira mentioned, Shamira is my comadre, by the way. We know each other for many years. We are taught in Belize that you're not to talk Creole. We are taught that Creole are never in our language. We are taught that we know as Creole people, we don't have our culture. Yet, every other ethnic group in Belize borrow some aspect of Creole culture and then claim it as their own. So one of the great accomplishments that we pride ourselves in is the publishing of the second edition of the Creole English Dictionary. And I would like to, I will put the link in the chat where we could download the Belize Creole Dictionary from a 501 Academy for free as a PDF. So our language, when we look upon the morphology of the language, and it's beautiful and it helps with a connect not only with Africa, but the Caribbean. Because Belize, I like to say Belize got one foot in the sea and the next foot on dry land. Because we're a part of the Caribbean and we're a part of Central America at the same time. And so engaging in forums like this helps to reinforce that connection between Belize and the region. One other thing where we work on in Belize that we connect with other Creole communities in Central America. For example, the Creole in Nicaragua and the Creole in Colombia, San Andres particularly, and build that dialogue so we could see the commonality and that the part of our methodology to decolonize our identity and our approach to our language and our heritage as a whole. Thanks.
Wilfred, thanks a lot. What is coming to mind? It's just gone from my head. Go ahead. Anybody else wants to speak? I was just, I was just projecting into a future that the course itself, you probably can think of similar parallel courses at all the universities right across the Caribbean. If you don't have them already, then that could be it. And learning that connectedness. Oh, the thought that was coming to me before somebody else speaks is 1 minute. It is, I don't know if it is so it's interesting that Professor and I had to do the presentation on Saturday as a recording because we saw the hurricane coming. And if it's anything that we have to unite about in this Caribbean, is how to handle climate change, how to handle the coming, the absolutely incredible change to the climate, the increasingly vicious hurricanes that are coming at us. So this is not just an academic exercise. There's some level of urgency that we have to bring to how we understand our unity. You see, it's about true transformation. How do we solve real problems? And producing papers in English alone really cannot be our future, because you're leaving out, it's like an iceberg. The top of it is English and the rest of it is our cultures and all the knowledge that is carried in our languages. Anyway, any more comments? We got some time. I'm technically to close this class at 10 minutes after 8, but the Lal, are you there? Our host, I don't think our host would mind.
I'll just add, piggybacking on you, saying
Yes,
about
Jeremy.
Yes, I'm here.
about the need for, this unity in the region and in the face of the kind of viciousness, I think you said, of the hurricane, of climate catastrophe more generally, but then also of and related, the militarism that is now, the viciousness of that is an ongoing form of colonization that
Mhm.
has many of these effects that have already been raised, including about language and the kind of devaluing of language and Creole culture more generally. Yes, that's a part of the cultural imperialism that has long been, like Professor Devonish and you were explaining, Charlene, just now, has been a part. The military violence has been, a major factor of colonization from the start. So it's not new in that form either.
Yes. And it's military violence by a minority of people, but who possess the majority of the weapons. And so, yeah, that's how we're cowed, and we are. Why do you think Afro Creole culture has spread? Because the masses of people brought to the Caribbean by far outnumbered the colonists. So it was not the colonist language that was carried, in fact. It was the African genesis, the language of African genesis. Before I forget though, can I ask Wilford how he got the invitation to this presentation so that we can keep in touch?
It was actually shared to me or shared with me by Shamira. So I'm not sure how Shamira get it, but she make sure that he forward it to me, and I'm very grateful for that.
Give thanks.
So I could share my email address
Yes,
and
please.
WhatsApp number. You
Yes,
want
please.
me? All right. I will send it to you in a
And
chat right
Shamira,
now.
you can do the same too. How did you?
Okay, I got it. One of my friends, Michael Zuniga, um who is also an advocate for his culture in Belize. He's Garifuna, but he knows my passion, And he also know that I am a Creole American translator here in the US for immigration court. And so I think he goes to the University of Guyana for law. He's attending that hybrid. And I guess
Ah,
that was
I
circulating.
see.
And so as soon as he saw it, I was the first person that popped in his mind.
Okay, well, you can put your information in the chat as well. I
No
see.
problem.
Great. You see the connection now? Good. Well, I don't know how my students are feeling. I would love to hear from them. How are they feeling? My students have to prepare an exhibition product for the end of the semester, which is coming up in December. So this must be giving them a lot of ideas. At least I hope so. Thank you, Wilford.
Hi, good night, Miss Charlene. Good night,
Yes,
colleagues. Good night, presenter. I can identify with one. It's something that I use. I lived in Barbados for quite a few years,
Mm-hmm,
and returning to Ghana, that's something that is a part of my speech. Like wanna good, wanna alright, wanna
mm-hmm.
okay. So I can identify with the presenter when he said like wanna or wanna. That's my
So
contribution, guys.
how did you feel when you returned home with respect to language?
It was kind of different, very, very different. So I might think I sound funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking because like everything is like wanna good, wanna alright, and it was like hard sometimes. What you mean by what you say, then I would say, are you okay? Are you fine? So it was a transition getting from Barbados to Guyana. But I enjoy saying wanna, it's okay. I like saying it, or are you okay? Wanna okay? Wanna good? Yeah.
Thanks, Diane.
Good evening, Miss.
We're all ears. Anyone else?
Yes, Miss Lane
Yes,
here.
Jillian, yes.
Yes, Miss, I like the whole historical background of all that came out of the presentation,
Mm-hmm,
and I can relate to the music. I
mm-hmm,
actually knew the second one,
mm-hmm.
so um, I am delighted that I can be a part of this class and to be able to benefit and make a contribution in whatever way possible.
Great, great. So as primary school teachers, those of you who are primary school teachers, who, many of us in my generation grew up feeling small about who we were. We don't want that again for our children and grandchildren. We don't want them to be um, conceited and overly vain about themselves. We want them to understand themselves.
I have a question for just in general for anyone, students, people that were talking in the chat earlier about the kind of contexts where the kind of social contexts where these, where Creolese in different forms is used, including like we heard in the first song, the what's that? Was the Eddie Hooper, right? The from Suriname. And people were saying in the chat that it was a Kwekwe song or reminded you of Kwekwe
Mhm,
songs. I'm not sure if anybody would say more about that. I would really appreciate that, hearing more of
mhm.
your kind of filling in what you meant by that. If it was the particular song that you knew, or just the themes of the song or the sound of it. And
Sir,
for
good
people,
night. Good night,
yeah,
everyone.
great.
Actually, the first song, when my family, when we do go to Kwekwe, that's one of the song we would sing. And our way of singing it would be, if you love a woman, you must give she money. If she bam bam heavy, you go give she honey. Ah, who make you nice, nice, so? Why, oh, I, oh, mama make you nice, nice, so. So I can relate to the first song. because we would usually sing them at Kwekwe and a whole lot of other songs. So when I heard it, I said, yes, this is full Kwekwe vibes.
It's beautiful.
And we just find out who gets sweet voicing. Hey, who else? Who else want to join your voice?
Any other people go to Kwekwe or recognize the song or had anything to say about that in particular?
Well, I love Kwekwe. The first time I went to a Kwekwe was in Golden Grove when one of my cousins got married. And I said, well, this is it. But then when I started to teach my children folk songs and so forth, I grew to love the whole culture and so forth. And I actually did some readings about the origin of the Kwekwe and how it came about and all the rest of it. So I can relate to Kwekwe.
When I was teaching and reading at the mainstream, I used to sing those folk songs with my students, and it was amazing sometimes that the Indian students, they used to like have joy and they had known the song, and by the time I say lily girl, lily girl, lily girl, lily girl, will make your brace, and so, and they used to have so much fun. So for their age, knowing those songs is really interesting.
I have a quick question. What is Kweke?
Kwekwe is let Mr. Shana answer that. Mr. Shana, you can probably tell us a nice summary of it. It's a part of an African wedding ceremony. Kind of like how the East Indians have a kind of Digdati vibes.
Yes,
like
the night before the actual wedding, the actual ceremony that day, the night before, they would have the Kwekwe, where both families, the boy or the bride and the groom families would their families would come together, and when we come together, the songs you would sing, at some Kwekwe you would play ring games. Because my father is from Burby, so we learned a whole lot of folk songs, a whole lot of Kwekwe songs. My father would usually play the drum, the hand drum that is. So we learn a lot of Kwekwe songs. And you don't sing them in English. Everything is Creolese. So you do have a lot of fun. So that's Kwekwe. The boy, we would say the bridegroom would go and buy the bride. But in Africa, they would pay like a bride price, but our culture in Guyana, they would just come and you use songs. Like if when the bridegroom comes to the bride place, they would sing a song there. They would sing a few songs coming down because it would be like a little parade. They would walk from the end of the street and come down, reach to the gate of the bride, and they would have exchange. They would have a song that they would sing, and then when you come in and you enter, you sing another song. And it's just an
would like to add another thing they do too at Kwekwe. The wife or the bride, she would go and hide, and then the groom has to go and look all over to find her. And if he doesn't find her, I think that's when he has to pay. No,
he has to pay.
No, not he has to pay. He has to
Yeah,
pay.
that's what I'm thinking. Actually, I'm from Burmese too.
You gotta pay whatever
I
price.
don't like
That's when they would pay that price. Forget licks.
It's some kind of it's
The
Sorry,
mother of
go
the
ahead.
bride would say a price first before they open the gate. Well, he and his family would have to pull the gate in order for it to be open. Because they would sing, let the man in, let the
Open
man
the
in.
door, let the man come in. All of we
Yes,
are one
open the door, let the man come in. And the mother of the bride would have to call a price first. And if he does not find her, then he have to pay that price with the
You
mother.
forgetting the fun
like a
part about the
dowry.
part. That is
Yes,
be
see,
them bad for coming.
So there's actually a clash at the gate when they singing "Open the Door, Let the Man Coming." There's a clash all the time at the gate, and they rocking the gate, they pushing, and when they force their way in, that's when they start looking for the bride.
And you
And
know,
he
and you
doesn't
know
find the
what?
bride,
Wonder
he
where
needs to
me
pay the
Jenny
price.
gone. Search I'm gonna find him. I gotta look and look and look for the bride.
And you
Yes,
Yeah,
I
the
realize,
was.
same
student,
story that they will lift the bride to be able to put a white sheet over her
Yes, but
and
it's
lift
probably
her up
after they find the
in the
bride.
air.
It's after.
Yeah, after
It
the
kind of
final, and
song
then
outside
the
of the
bride and the groom gotta show their motion. They gotta dance and show their motion.
Yes.
I like see the parts.
So
Oh
it's
and you
also
God.
realize
the so
this
put
is
the
how
head
you
of
teach metaphor, right? This is
I
the
know, yeah. So
profound
I can make I
metaphor.
see like going to quick way. Cause it's
Well,
Miss
Jerry,
this is
Put
very
Jafari,
very
something
Miss
and
good.
invite me,
Jafari,
no?
keep your
Probably have to
Something
come
and
to
invite
Peru.
me.
Mr.
I try for
Pepe.
talk and my students allow me for that one word.
We sorry
sorry,
about that.
miss.
It's
Go
great.
You
ahead.
you all your detention and take out 5 marks from everything.
Sorry,
No,
miss.
I just try
Sorry.
to say, I try to point out that this is the most profound way to understand the word, the metaphor. The metaphor is all about the sexual act.
Yes.
It is a cosmological thing.
The innuendo.
it thank you guys for explaining. It sounds like a combination of what we call Brahm and Sambai.
Wow.
Brahm, yeah. So Brahm is
Exactly.
just yeah, right. It sounds like except for the wedding, the whole wedding part. It sounds kind of like okay, Brahm we do mostly around Christmas time, and we're through the dancing through the streets. Traditionally they will go from house to house. So we start at my house and then we go maybe we go to Wilford house and Wilford have cake and lemonade. Well, we call soft drink
Wine,
lemonade or soda,
rum, food.
wine, rum cake. Then we go to Miss Charlene house and so the crowd get bigger and bigger till they reach at the last spot and then we Bram we party till morning. And then somebody the fertility dance,
Fertility ritual.
yeah, ritual. And so like I said, outside of the wedding part, um and then we sing some by song. So yeah. And then there's a fire involved here, dance around the fire.
Yes. So like what I enjoy about the Wii music is that it's heavy on innuendos and it's heavy
Mm-hmm.
on subliminal meanings.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in a sambai, right, as a fertility ritual, we say if you not jump the sambai, you will get pregnant. So you have to jump the sambai whenever the time for sambai. And it's a ring dance. The fire in the middle, the fire represent the sun. And so for we movement round the fire represent the cosmic dance of the celestial bodies, no? And not only does it represent the sexual act and the product of it, it also represents the act of planting. Because not only we woman we want fertile, we want we earth fertile, we want we seas fertile. So when we go fishing, we catch a lot of fish. When we plant, we want to dig up big cassava and big cocoa and big yams, right? So the songs are very sexually connotative. The first one that comes to my mind is one where we call Soldier. It say, Soldier minati pilot, fi go meet den gyal a hololo. Soldier minati pilot, fi go meet den gyal a hololo. So these are the sambai get preserved in a we only surviving maroon community in a Belize in name Gales Point, right? Gales Point Manatee, but in a Belize Creole we call it Malante. And we even
Malante.
got a song we say, I'm a Ghana Malante, gonna spend a week and a half, right? When I eat me dinner, I eat one plate and a half. Jericho, where your mommy day? Then it tells the whole story about what all you do at Malante. You eat your dinner, you drink some wine, you go to dance, you dance a piece and a half, you kiss your girl, you know, just get a regular kiss, you want girl, one kiss and a
Well,
half,
kitchen and half.
right? So we're all connected through how we express ourselves culturally. And from island to island, or from state to state, from settlement to settlement, what we actually observe and talk about in this conversation is the morphology of our heritage, right? And that's what I appreciate so much about being a part of this conversation. Our last thing I was said at this, when I did teach Picnic Creole, how to read and write Creole, I believe, I was say, fe, fo, fa, fo. All of them are the same word. For, F-O-R. But depending on what part you're there in the country, you want to use some farm, a
Whichever,
different
yeah.
farm of the
That's
word.
how you identify where part
Where
of the
part
country
they
they
come
come.
from. Correct.
Yeah.
So if the person will say, who for that thing there? You know they come from either Belize Central, Belize City, or Belize River Valley, whether they heart of Belize Creole civilization. If they say, who for that? F-O, you know they come from West, San Ignacio, Cayo, or maybe from Orange Walk. If they
For the
say,
Spanish,
right, if they say, who for that, or who for that, then you know they're either from Belize City also, or from one of we communities down south. But I thank you so much for this conversation, and please make a know how and when we will continue. Because in a Creole, Belize Creole storytelling, the story never done. The character in the story will always walk on a pin. And then we say if the pin never bend, the story never
the
end.
story never ends.
We never been, story never get. Yeah, because next year coming and this year can be spent in planning what next year. Next year can be a culminating activity for our continuing transformation and unification. I don't know what we can plan for, but we can all start thinking about it and thinking about our civic responsibility now is really to the planet itself, not just to our individual territories created by colonists. We have a duty to the planet. And it's we are in serious trouble. I don't really want to end on a sad note, but the viciousness of the hurricanes, the increasing viciousness, is a signal to what we're bearing. And I don't want enmity against those who are attacking us, but I don't know, because anger energy doesn't really solve anything. Or we could just be angry for a second, but you have to move to the solution. Jeremy, I'd really prefer if you close this, because I don't want to be too emotional and preachy.
Or to close, I thought it's so many great things that were shared. Yes. And just to thank you, everyone, for being here, for honoring and celebrating Creole Day, International Creole Day, um, and for all the students and the visitors. Um, Great, so great. So thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you very much, and thanks for coming, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks for having us, and you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the evening.
Everyone. To
Night, night.
Yes. Miss
night,
Wilkinson.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yes.
Good night,
everyone.
mate.